So the hardest part wasn't so much creating the music. The hardest part was me combining all this information into a short enough time to give us enough time to listen to the music. So that's what I've been focusing on. I'm from New Jersey, so I like talking. Before we get into the science, you might be saying to yourself, a couple of people were talking to me in the back, and they said, how do you make this? How did this all come about? Why am I qualified to have this experience with you in the first place? So I want to give you a little background about that. Is that okay if I share a little bit about myself before we get started? Is that okay? So my name is Dr. Stephen Schwartz, and I've owned multiple clinics here in the Denver area since 2000, working with chronic degenerative conditions, allergies, systemic inflammatory conditions, human performance issues, and I've been using all vibrational technologies. I ran a last resort clinic since 2000. People, when they didn't know where else to go, like, your stuff is weird, but I heard good things about you, and I'm willing to give it a shot, and we got them results. All using vibrational technologies. And I said to myself, I know I'm not a psychic. I don't think I have any kind of special abilities. I'm just another guy like anybody else. So why is this working? There's got to be science behind it. And I started researching that. So really, without getting into the whole backstory, jumping forward to 2006, I had a successful practice here in Denver. And I was using these little, you ever seen those little water ampules, those little vibrational signature sample vials? It's basically these little glass tubes, and they contain water. And within water, there's a vibrational signature in there. And you can put anything you want in there. I literally have thousands of them. Now they're sitting in my closet. I'm not even using them. But during my practice, I was switching in and out these vials and reprogramming people's neurology and bodies for whatever it was that they had a problem with. And it worked. So I knew how to do that, and I started bringing on more staff, and it was hard to reproduce these vials. And I said, what if instead of using these water samples that contain vibrational signatures, what if I used audio files? What if I used sound? And I said, okay, well, who do I know that has a sound recording studio? And at the time, I had a friend of mine who had a recording studio, a professional musician. I call him up, and I say, Chris, you want to participate in an experiment? He goes, yeah, I'm game. FYI, if anybody ever calls you and said, do you want to participate in a scientific experiment, you should probably find out what that experiment is first. But he knew me and was like, yes, whatever you're doing, let's do it. So I said to him, do you have any health issues? He says, very interesting. I just started dating this girl, and she's got 3 cats, and I'm deathly allergic to cats. I was like, perfect. At the time, I was treating a ton of cat allergies, and it was probably one of the most consistent treatments that I was doing at the time, using my vials. And so it was a good baseline that was established. I knew exactly how I was going to be able to treat it, what the expected outcome was going to be, so I could compare it to the sound treatment that we were going to be doing. So we go into his recording studio. I reproduce all my energetic signatures with audio files, reproduce all the samples in there, and I'm totally making this up. And over the next week, we create this whole process. And it turns out that out of 22 samples that I had, he was allergic to 18 of the 22 samples. So he had a very severe allergy. And over the next week, I treated him 4 times. And then the week after that, he calls me and said, hey, I went to my girlfriend's house last night. Okay, I'm listening. And how many people are cat people in the room? A lot of cat people. This seems like kind of a cat people kind of crowd versus like the dog people kind of crowd. Those are like, and that makes sense. You look like the dog people, and you guys all look like the cat people. So as you know, with the cat people, like with cats, you can't chase around cats. Like it's a very passive process. They have to come to you, right? So my friend starts telling me about it. He goes over there on a mission to check this cat allergy, and he's chasing the cats around the house, and they're hiding in bed, in the closet. They don't have anything to do with it. And after about a half hour, he's like, forget about it. I'm just going to go over to the cat bed, picks up the cat bed, and he just rubs his face all in the cat bed. And I'm on the phone here. I'm like, and no reaction. You can clap. That was good. Thank you. I was jumping around. I was like, interesting. Because I'm the scientist, right? So I was like, very good. Yes, that was the beginning of Bioharmonic Technologies. That's where my company in 2007 began. And I started basically from there, I took all these vials, started converting them into a computer program. And I was working with that for the next year, but I also wanted to start making what I call sonic-ceuticals. And I thought that for somebody that had never spent a day, more than 2 days now, in a recording studio, to make a cat allergy CD, I thought was a bit ambitious. So we created my first CD, which is this energy clearing, this orange series CD in the front here. And it was really cool. It was a process really being open to the universe, to letting it come through. And my old associate refers to that as sonic sage. If you just want to clear your energy field, clear things out of your nervous system and out of the space, you play the CD. And people have called me from around the world telling me their results with it. So it's really amazing. So that was the first CD that I made. And then following that, the next sonic-ceutical is cellular attunement. And George yesterday talked about how he'd had this process called the EVOX done. We created this is an emotional balancing sonic-ceutical created with the EVOX, but you can also, it stands alone. It's an energy balancing CD. And then this third one, I actually created, it's what I call my sonic first aid kit. And I created it before I went down to Peru for 11-11-11. And it was all on my iPod, just for anything I may need in the jungles. Like I have this digestive tract on there, this bone regeneration tract in there, wound healing, stem cell stuff. So all of that is so it's like a physical healing sonic-ceutical. And at this time, actually, I'd like for you guys to all welcome my dear friend and my compadre with my music sound designer, Mr. Jason Kale. He's in the back. Thank you, Jason. Jason is a new friend of mine, and we've created, actually, we just finished doing a sonic-ceutical for autism, and I'm just finishing doing, the music is completely done, we're doing the packaging and getting it out. It should be done probably within a month or so. And then there's another sonic-ceutical that we created that we're finishing up right now called Cell Cleanser, and it works with killing pathogens and detoxifying cells. So these are, instead of taking something orally, you're receiving it through music. And I have a reproducible system that we create I create these sonic-ceuticals. And so, but what I've always wanted to do was a live sonic-ceuticals event. Instead of you just having the sonic-ceutical and listening to it, I want to do it in a live setting. And so this is what we're going to be doing. So we have 2 practices under our belts, and this is the first time we're going to do it, and it's going to be amazing. So you're the guinea pigs. You excited for that? And all of you in the world out there, you're going to be able to experience this through the computer as well, too.